Are you guys here for me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, why? Can you maintain your distance there?
Can. Of course, yeah.
And also identify yourselves. Did you just switch your camera on?
Yeah.
Alright, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy, alright? Also yours, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy.
Deleted. Of course.
Alright, can you identify yourselves, please,
Can I
officers?
ask you first, sorry, what was your first name, my friend?
I'm not at liberty to give you that. When you approach a member of the public, you identify yourself. That's your policy, so identify yourself.
Okay. So my name is Simon Tops, Police Constable 693, Simon Tops, Avon, Somerset Police.
And yours is?
My colleague.
5512, Josh Burnell.
Alright, and what crime have I committed, or do you suspect me of committing?
Okay, what are you being so hostile?
I'm not being hostile, I'm just asking you, because when police approach me,
Yeah.
police come to deal with crimes, do they not?
Not necessarily, no.
What do they come to deal with? Civil matters?
Well, we're here to prevent crime.
So what crime do you suspect me of about to commit?
Not suggesting you're committing a crime at all. So.
Alright then.
What was your first name, so I can talk to you on first name basis?
No, it's fine, I'm not going to give you that.
Okay. Are you filming at the moment?
I am indeed, for my own
Okay,
protection.
what's the purpose of you filming?
My own purpose.
Right.
They approach him without introduction and without context, and he has to prompt them just to identify themselves, which says a lot about how casually they entered the interaction instead of answering the obvious question, what offence do you suspect? They pivot straight to labelling him hostile. That word gets used far too easily when someone is simply asking officers to justify their actions. Asking for grounds isn't aggression, it's holding them to the standard they're supposed to meet before engaging. And if they genuinely believed an offence had taken place, they would be able to clearly articulate it from the start.
Can I ask why you're here at the
Can I ask you a question? Am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained, no.
See you later then.
But you can't go through there.
I just asked the gentleman if I could go through and he
Okay,
said yeah.
Chris?
Did you not just tell me the way to the bus station?
You did ask me where the bus is,
And left at the machine and all the way down?
I did say that.
Yeah.
Okay, can I
Okay.
just...
No, you can't actually.
Okay, well, whilst you're walking, I'll just make it quite
Are you
clear
following
for
me?
I'm not following
You're
you.
harassing me.
I'm not harassing
I'm trying
you,
to
I'm
walk
talking
away.
to
Okay,
you.
I'm going to go this way instead then.
No, if you...
So if you no, I'm going to go to the bus stop.
Okay.
Okay. Leave me alone. All right.
Okay, that's fine. If you make your way to the bus stop, that'd be great.
I'm not going. You're not going to follow me.
What?
Which way are you going?
Sorry?
Which way are you going?
Look, if you don't want me to follow...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
I'm not here to call...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
It doesn't matter which way I go. I can go whichever way I like. I'm not being...
All right, I'll wait for you to go then.
I'm not being dictated to by you.
Do you know your
where
oath?
I go. All right?
Do you know your oath?
Yeah, I do.
Can you say it to me?
No,
I'll start you
I'm
off.
not going to say it to you.
I'll start you off.
I'm not here to justify my actions.
No,
to
you're
you.
here to uphold the law.
I am
Have I
upholding
broken it?
Not at the moment you haven't.
So leave me alone.
They tell him he's not detained, so he does exactly what someone not detained is entitled to do. He starts to leave, and that's when the tone shifts again. Suddenly, they want to know where he's going, trailing behind him as if his freedom only exists in theory. You can't have it both ways. Either someone's free to go, or they're not. Then it turns into ego. He asks the officer to repeat his oath, not as theatrics, but as a reminder of the standard he's meant to uphold. The officer refuses, saying he doesn't have to justify himself, and that might be the most telling moment of the entire encounter. Policing isn't a private club where explanations are optional. Accountability is part of the job.
This isn't consensual.
That's fine.
Policing by consent. Leave me alone.
Okay, off you go then.
No, I will
Have a
go.
nice day.
I will go when I'm ready.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Cool.
Have a nice day.
I will. I'm actually having a lovely day.
Okay. If you could make your way to the bus station, though,
Why?
that would be great.
Why?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not here.
So why do you keep telling me what to do?
I'm not telling you what to
You
do.
are. You just said make your way to the bus station.
You
Like
said
what
you were
right?
making your way-
Can I just ask you, what right do you have to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law?
Okay.
You haven't got a right to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law. So stop trying to bully me.
I'm not trying to.
Yes,
bully
you are. You're trying to
find
tell
out-
me what to do.
I'm trying to find out why you're walking around a university
Because
with a camera.
I'll tell you why. Because I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Photography is
But
not a
some
crime.
of this university is private premises.
No, it's not, bro.
It is.
Do you know?
Okay, that's why you're wrong.
Are you familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972?
No, I'm not.
No,
No,
you're
not
not. But you
particularly.
should be.
Okay.
Because it's the law.
Okay.
Which says at the material time of operating, the public are allowed access, whether upon payment or not.
To where?
Anywhere that is open. This is a public space. These lines were painted by the council.
The tone shifts into something closer to quiet bullying, instructions given as if authority alone makes them lawful. When that doesn't work, the fallback becomes its private premises, as if saying it confidently makes it true. But Ed doesn't respond emotionally, he goes straight to structure and law. He asks whether the officer is familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972, which recognizes access rights in places the public are ordinarily allowed to be. The officer admits he isn't. And that moment matters. An officer trying to enforce boundaries he can't legally define isn't operating on knowledge. He's operating on assumption. Ed then points to council road markings, clear indicators of a public highway, not genuinely restricted land.
Well, I think you're mistaken.
No,
This part of
I'm
this
not.
university is private property.
Can I just ask you
There
another
is
something?
public access.
If I was to
part
say
of
to
the
you,
university.
if I was to say to you, I'm not going anywhere, what could you do?
Sorry?
If I was to say to you, I'm not going to leave now, what could you do?
Well, I don't intend to do anything.
You
at the
couldn't.
moment.
You couldn't do anything because I haven't broken the law. When those guys rang you and reported a crime, what you should have said to them is, "It's not breaking
They
the
have
law."
reported a crime.
What did they do?
Reported a suspicious person filming at a
suspicion-
university campus.
Is photography a crime? You're recording. You're
Well,
recording.
I don't know.
You guys,
How
let me
do
just
I know
think.
that you're not filming for terrorist
Do you know?
purposes?
You see that on your uniform?
Yep.
That thin blue line thing.
How
That is
do
an utter disgrace.
How do I know?
You disgrace the country with that.
How do I know that you're not filming for terrorist purposes?
So we go
for
on.
example?
So we go on what we do know, what we don't, not what we don't.
Well, not necessarily.
No,
That's again
so-
where you're wrong. Isn't
Okay.
It?
So what reasonable suspicion do you have that I'm a terrorist,
Well,
sir?
you're filming a university campus.
So you're
with a
trying to get me
camera.
on Section 43.
No, I'm not.
So why did you mention it then?
Well, because I'm just explaining that you seem to think that I can only act when a crime's been reported. but
No. You're more than willing to come up to me and ask me.
Yeah.
If you can articulate reasonable suspicion that I may be a terrorist,
Well, you're walking around a university campus with a camera. And
This is a unit.
And you won't explain why.
but I don't have to.
The tone shifts into something closer to quiet bullying, instructions given as if authority alone makes them lawful. When that doesn't work, the fallback becomes its private premises, as if saying it confidently makes it true. But Ed doesn't respond emotionally, he goes straight to structure and law. He asks whether the officer is familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972, which recognizes access rights in places the public are ordinarily allowed to be. The officer admits he isn't. And that moment matters. An officer trying to enforce boundaries he can't legally define isn't operating on knowledge. He's operating on assumption. Ed then points to council road markings, clear indicators of a public highway, not genuinely restricted land.
Well, then that gives me suspicion of what your activity is.
So you think I'm a terrorist? You have reasonable suspicion that I am up to terrorist activities.
I don't know why you're...
I'm not engaged in any
why are you
hostile
filming?
reconnaissance because I can, as my rights allow me to. Is this not a free country?
Yeah, but...
So am I not allowed to own a camera?
You are allowed to
You're
own a camera.
filming. What's the difference between
You're
you
allowed
and
to
I?
own a camera and you're allowed to film.
And what's
And
the
I'm
difference
not-
between you
and
and...
I'm not preventing you from doing that.
But why
I'm
are you
not
accusing me of being a
turning the camera
terrorist
off.
then?
I'm not accusing you of being
Well, why
a
are you saying I'm
terrorist.
suspicious?
I'm just saying there are some concerns about your
What concerns?
nature of why you're filming
What
an empty
concerns?
university.
What concerns?
But then it gives me suspicion for why you're here with a camera.
Suspicion is not a crime.
No, but it gives me grounds to do certain things if I feel it necessary.
Are you threatening me?
I'm not threatening you.
So what do you mean then?
what the law is.
Well, you don't know the law because that's not
Well,
right.
I think I do.
Well, tell me what reasonable suspicion you have.
Well, why are you filming a university when you're
I'm not telling you.
with a camera?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, well then I'm suspicious.
That's fine. You can be suspicious.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
But then I can also act on that suspicion
No, you
if
can't.
I feel it appropriate.
You can. Yeah, you can, and I'll sue you.
Okay, well, but that's my decision.
Yeah, I know, and you'll lose your job.
Well, I'm not doing that, am I?
No, because you're scared
But
to.
you're not helping our cause.
I don't
here,
have
are
to
you?
help you.
Ed ends up repeating the same point, because they keep acting as if it hasn't been answered. Filming in a public access area isn't prohibited just because someone dislikes it. He even highlights the obvious contradiction. They're recording him while implying that his camera is inherently suspicious. That hypocrisy matters. It shows the issue isn't the act of recording, it's who's holding the lens. Then comes the line about my suspicions give me grounds to do certain things. That's where it gets dangerous. Suspicion isn't a blank check. It has to be reasonable, specific, and tied to an actual offence.
I don't have to help you, do I?
You don't have to.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, okay. I think we understand where we are.
I know where I understand where I am. I know the
understand
law.
where
You
I am.
don't. You those gentlemen over there, the guys who called the police, whoever called the police, I suggest you go and speak to them about Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, making a false report, because that's wasting police time, which is actually a criminal offence.
Okay. It's been nice talking to you. If you're heading towards the bus stop, then
I'll go wherever I like.
Have a lovely day.
I'll go wherever
well,
I
you
like.
won't go wherever you like.
I will indeed.
Because parts of this.
I'll go anywhere that
university-
is publicly accessible. I will go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one will stop me.
Yeah.
Not those guys up there. Not you guys
But what
either.
you need to understand at the moment.
I don't need to understand
just so
anything.
that
I
we're
know the
clear,
law.
Is so do I.
Yeah, no, you don't.
So do I. Okay.
You don't. You don't even
This
know
is a-
what Criminal
this-
Justice Act, Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act
This is-
1972 is. Do you know it?
This is a
You need to
private.
know the ins and outs.
Of course you know. Of course, if you're gonna uphold the law, you have to know the ins and outs of the law. How can you tell me that you don't have to know the ins and outs
Okay.
of the law, but then you're here to uphold it? How does
Okay.
that make sense?
Ed doesn't just defend himself. He redirects the spotlight. He points out that if anyone crossed the line, it's the person who made the exaggerated report. Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967 covers knowingly giving false information that wastes police time, yet they ignore it entirely. That's telling. They're quick to scrutinize him, but not the source of the complaint. Then comes the familiar "you can't go wherever you like" line, which only holds if they can define a lawful boundary. Ed makes it clear he's in publicly accessible space. Instead of addressing that properly, one officer shrugs, saying you don't need to know the ins and outs of the law. That's not a minor slip. It's an admission that authority is being exercised without understanding the limits that control it.
You're even a Somerset constabulary, innit?
Okay.
Absolute joke.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
I haven't enjoyed myself, actually. You've ruined my day. So go away now, please.
Parts of the university are private premises. There are public access routes.
I won't go anywhere that is private. I haven't been anywhere that's private, and I will not go anywhere that's private. As you could probably understand from the way I speak, I know exactly what I'm doing, sir. I know the laws that surround what I'm doing. I don't appreciate you accusing me of being a terrorist.
Well,
what's your number
again? I've not
again?
accused you of being a terrorist. I've explained.
693. You threatened
No, I
me. You
haven't.
said, "Oh, now I've got reason."
I've not threatened
mate,
you
listen,
at all.
The camera doesn't lie.
I've not threatened you
The
at
camera
all.
doesn't
You
lie.
can play your camera back.
I will.
Right?
I'll be playing
I've not
to
threatened
your
you at all.
superior.
I'm just explaining that if you're filming an empty university that's actually closed at the moment to the university's actually closed. All right, to the students. It's
I'm not a
closed,
student.
It's closed to staff.
I'm not staff.
So why are you here?
I'm a member of the public, and I'm in a publicly accessible area.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Well, that's fine. If you want to film
I know it's fine.
in open public spaces.
Yeah, and I'm allowed.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
you won't be filming inside buildings.
I don't want to film inside a building.
And if you trespass in private property,
It's a civil matter. Are you telling me that you're going to do something for a civil matter?
I will do.
Okay. Okay.
When he pivots to if Ed trespasses and records inside buildings, we'll have to take action, he's reaching for a scenario that hasn't happened to justify pressure in the moment. Trespass, in its basic form, is a civil matter between a landowner and the person on the land. It isn't automatically a police issue unless specific aggravating factors apply. You cannot preemptively threaten enforcement over a hypothetical civil dispute. Ed isn't inside a building, isn't bypassing security, and isn't refusing a lawful direction tied to a defined legal power.
And that's
If
another
the security
complaint.
asks you to leave a private
They
premises and you
but I
refuse,
haven't been on private property.
and you refuse
But I haven't
to,
been on private property.
then I'll have
Sir,
to consider
listen.
my powers under the breach of the peace.
Oh, so now you're threatening me for a crime that listen, what part of my behaviour is threatening or abusive?
Well, nothing at the moment.
Okay, so don't threaten me with something that
I'm not
hasn't
threatening
happened
you.
or that isn't going to
I
happen.
also
You
know
are.
the
That's
law.
no. Listen, you're
Okay.
just threatening me with breach of the peace when a breach of the peace isn't going to happen
Well,
because
one
I'm
of
not
my
acting in.
fundamental roles is to prevent a breach of the peace.
Yeah, but there's going to be no breach of the peace because I'm not acting in
That's
threatening
fine.
or abusive
So
behaviour.
All I'm saying is don't go into private premises,
listen,
don't film in the
how many
buildings.
times do you want to say that?
Okay, otherwise...
How many times do you want to say that, considering the fact that I said...
And then I'll have to support them to prevent a breach of the peace, is all I'm saying.
That's fine. You
And
could
that's
do,
me knowing my law.
That's fine. You could do that, but I promise you that if the course of action that you've just stated happens, I'll sue you.
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to sue me.
And I'm going to make a complaint. 3 complaints in this 8 minutes 46 seconds, and 3 complaints about you. You're smart for keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
You can complain.
See you later then, guys. Go.
Okay.
Be gone.
Out of nowhere, he floats breach of the peace as if the phrase itself lends weight to the moment. That power doesn't exist to rescue a weak argument. It's meant for situations where violence is imminent or someone is genuinely at risk that asks the only question that matters: what have I done that's threatening or abusive? The officer admits, none at the moment. That ends it. You cannot warn someone about breach of the peace while simultaneously conceding there's no threatening behavior. If there's no aggression, no crowd forming, no volatility building, then invoking breach of the peace isn't preventative policing, it's pressure masquerading as law.
No need to be rude.
I'm not being rude.
Okay.
Plus, is rudeness a crime? Is this a free country? If I would like to be rude, I'm well within my rights to be rude. Okay? So go away, please, and leave me alone. You're harassing me.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks
All
very
right?
much.
Go away now. Told me I can't record in there, so now I'm going to have to walk round. You inform these guys that photography is not a crime as well, yeah? You educate these guys on the law. No. You're here. You're a public servant. You're here to uphold the law.
Yeah.
These guys have broken the law by filing a false report.
They have.
Okay? Yes, they have.
Okay.
Yes, they have. They reported a crime when there wasn't a crime being committed. They made a false report. is a breach of Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, and you are failing in your job right now,
Okay.
officer,
Well,
constable.
Thanks very much. It's been very nice talking to you. If you can maintain yourself on the public places,
I'll go wherever
okay,
I like. Thank you.
You know what my position is.
I'll
in
go
relation
wherever.
to
Yeah, you made threats. You made a threat of
I've not made a
arrest.
threat.
You did. You made an illegal threat of arrest. Bullies, guys.
What stands out at the end isn't confrontation, it's avoidance. After all the suspicion, questioning, veiled threats, and floated powers, the officers pivot away from Ed and toward security. Yet, no one challenges the basis of the original report. The person who triggered the response isn't scrutinized on camera. There's no clarification, correction, or acknowledgement of exaggeration. That silence matters. If the foundation of the encounter were solid, it wouldn't need to be quietly stepped away from. There's also a subtle shift in energy. Early on, the officers control the tempo. They approach, question, and frame him as a potential problem. By the end, that control thins. Ed hasn't been detained, searched, or formally warned. No offense has been articulated. No boundary has been lawfully drawn. What's left is frustration, not from disorder or danger, but from an interaction that never justified itself. When he walks away, it isn't retreat, it's someone choosing to stop engaging with circular logic. If you found value in this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help keep this kind of accountability in the spotlight.